Hey guys, I'm Marty Geek. In this video I wanted to share my personal review of the PlayStation 5 after a month of using it. This month I've only been using the PlayStation 5, even though I did get also the Xbox Series S. And I decided to go ahead and share my video, my personal review, my personal experience of what I experienced so far with the console during the whole month, because it was released on November 12th. Today's December 12th, but I actually got it the day after because it got delayed by one day, which luckily it was only by one day. And I got the physical version, which is $500. Of course, there is a digital version only, which is $400. They're being overpriced on eBay. I recommend people do not buy them, honestly, because they are great console, but they're not worth more than the Sony priced them, and I'll explain why. Of course, for the CPU specs and all that, I'm just gonna be fast here because, you know, a lot of people don't really care for that. We just want to play games, and as long as the games play awesomely, I really don't give a damn what's under the hood. But here it is. Of course, it has a CPU based on AMD Zen 2, right? 8 cores, right? It has a GPU 10.28 teraflop. I think the Xbox Series X has 12. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this one actually has 10.28 teraflops. Of course, it has 16 gigabytes of GDDR6. It has memory bandwidth of 446 gigabits per second. Internally, this has 825 gigabyte of SSD, which is soldered in. You can't replace that drive whatsoever, but you can add some storage using the NVMe SSD slot. But the problem is that at this moment, it is actually disabled. You can access it if you want, but it's actually disabled. If you put a card in it, it's just not gonna work. Available storage that you're gonna get when you take it out of the box is actually gonna be 667 gigabytes. So keep that in mind. You don't really get 800 gigabytes, you get 667 gigabytes. But the cool thing is that you can still use an external hard drive. Right now I've been using an external SSD drive, which I already made a video for, and games play great for using it from the drive. Of course, make sure you're carefully disconnecting and connecting it. Actually make sure you actually eject the game before you actually take out the drive, because a lot of people are having problems with the SSD drive connected to the PlayStation 4, to the PlayStation 5, playing PlayStation 4 games. But for me, it's working as long as you follow the instructions. The negative thing is right now, as of this moment, is that you cannot move PlayStation 5 games to the external drive, which kind of sucks because these games can get big, and it is better to move the games than deleting it, because if you delete it, then you're gonna have to use more bandwidth from your internet to re-download those games. So right now, it's incredible that Sony still is not letting us move PlayStation 5 games to an SSD drive, but I believe there will be an update where that's going to be activated or enabled. Of course, when it comes to the graphics, in my opinion, the differences between PlayStation 4 Pro, which I'm coming from, right, and the PlayStation 5 are not that different, you know, are not that huge of a difference. The games that I've been playing is Astro Playroom, which is a must play if you have a PlayStation 5. Miles Morales Spider-Man looks incredible, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla looks awesome as well. And all those games they all look great, but let's be real, PlayStation 4 Pro games look great as well. God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, all those games on PlayStation 4 looked incredible. So honestly, the leap right now, we can't actually notice that much of a difference, but believe me, once couple years from now, we're really gonna see the game actually taking advantage of the console, because right now a lot of these games coming out are actually compatible with PlayStation 4 as well. Like, for example, Horizon Zero Dawn, the new one, the sequel, is actually going to be playable on PS4. And the new God of War, who knows if it's going to be playable PS4. My bet is that it will be. That's my bet. Of course, when it comes to the most noticeable thing, when it comes to playing games on this gen, Now the new gen is the loading time. Thanks to the SSD, which makes loading time a lot faster. The great thing is, the huge advantage is that you can really notice from last gen and this gen is the loading time. Loading the game from the beginning, loading when you're fast traveling, the loading time is instantly. When you die and you have to come back, it's very fast, and that right there is very good because it's very noticeable. So that, for me, I'm very grateful for that. And yes, I do like the way the PlayStation 5 console looks, even though yes, it is big, but I like the design, and I like the white and black color, two tones on it. I like it. But what I think that really stands out from this generation right now is the DualSense controller. It is really good. Yes, I still find it bigger than than the other controllers, but there's so much technology in it that if you don't play Astral Playroom, if you don't play that game, you're never going to experience the greatness that controller has to offer. That's why I keep saying over and over again that if you have a PlayStation 5, you have to play Astral Playroom. And Astral Playroom is free, so there's no reason why not to play it. Another great the controller has is that it has a built-in microphone. So if you're typing something or if you're writing a message for somebody, you can actually just press the microphone button on the on-screen keyboard and just start talking to the controller, and that's it. You can also use, if you don't have a microphone, a proper microphone, and you're playing online Fortnite or anything like that, you can just talk and you can listen and talk to people using the controller, which is great. Now, backwards compatibility has been great, of course. The PlayStation 4 game that I tested that I thought it was not going to work is Disney Infinity 3.0. You have to use the toys, you have to use the USB gamepad or the toy pads where you can put the toy pads, and I actually thought it was not going to work because you have to use all that in conjunction to make it work, and it works flawlessly. I had no problems whatsoever. The loading screen actually was pretty fast. It looked, I think honestly, it looked a little bit better, and I enjoyed it. I was playing for a couple hours, and if this game ran, I think any game that you have most likely is going to run. But let me know in the comments if you have a game that didn't actually run on the PlayStation 5. Let me know that in the comments. Also, if you're new to the PlayStation platform, you're coming from Xbox or PC, you never had a PlayStation 4 before, you can now, thanks to PlayStation Plus Collection, play a whole bunch of cool, great PlayStation 4 games that were super good, and like God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone, a whole bunch of great games. The only game that from that list that I didn't ever play was Persona 5, and it's actually there on the list. So if you like Persona 5, you can actually start picking it up as well. All you need to do is be a PlayStation Plus member, and you're already gonna have like a whole bunch of great games that you missed on the PlayStation 4. That's something really cool there. There's been a lot of changes to the UI, which honestly I did like the way the PlayStation 4 UI looked. But here, now when you have a game installed, you're gonna have like a whole bunch of cards in the bottom, and those cards show you like the game progress. Some cards show you the trophy progress. Some cards show you tips about something in the level where you're at. And a lot of those things, I haven't used them at all. Honestly, I don't. If there was an option to turn it off, I would actually turn those cards off, because I really like the way it looks when you're navigating through the games and you see the wallpaper of the game that you're playing, like Miles Morales, Valhalla, Astral. You see the cover of the game, and I think that looks very beautiful. And with the cards in the bottom, for me, it just makes it look messy. So I wish Sony actually came up with an update where if you want to turn it off, you could turn it off. If you want to use it, you could just use it. So that, for me, I would actually turn it off. I don't really use them, but they're gonna be useful for some people. One thing that I like is that you can, while you're playing video games, you can actually watch YouTube videos via pop-up, like picture-in-picture. You can move the picture video source anywhere around the screen. You can also use it from the side, attach the video to the side of the gameplay, and that's something really cool, especially if you're playing a game and you're watching like a tutorial online on something that you can't finish on the mission on like puzzles, that's something really cool that you can actually do now. And I really do like it, and I think I used it like twice already. It's really cool. After weeks, of course, of using weeks and almost a month using the PlayStation 4 controller, there's one thing that I don't like is that turning off the controller, you have to, when you're on the game, you have to hit the home button to go to the home button, hit the home button again to launch the bottom icons, then go all the way to the right and turn it off. That right there is just like a lot of steps to actually turn it off, when before it was just press and hold the home button. You got the option to turn on or off or restart the console, and that's it. So for me, I wish they can actually let us customize the bottom icons. That way we can put the power button right next to the home button. That would be good. But other than that, the problem that I was having the most during the whole month was sharing videos or pictures to YouTube or Twitter, and so on. I like to share a lot of videos and clips and pictures and screenshots when I'm playing video games, and I like to write something on it, right? But I was having a hard time trying to do that because every time I tried to, it would crash. Every single time, even after the first update, it would still crash. But luckily, like 3 or 4 days ago, after the last patch, it got fixed. Luckily, it got fixed, and so now I can actually record gameplay, take screenshot, and actually take my time writing a message on it and send it via Twitter. So now I'm happy. But for a whole month, it was unusable for me. It was crashing all the time. I couldn't barely share anything. The only way I could share something is like taking a screenshot and hitting send fast without writing something on it, because if I try to write something on it, it would crash. But you know, luckily now after a month, it's actually fixed. And of course, now you can actually record 4K using the share button, which is awesome. The way that I've been using my console has been in horizontal mode or lay down mode instead of tower mode, but I did try to see how it looks in tower mode, and it actually looks pretty good. I don't have a problem using it like that. The problem is that since it's so huge, it takes a lot of space on my desk, so I'd rather put it back down under my desk where I actually have my consoles. And I like the way it looks. You know, it looks pretty cool. It's been very quiet, which I'm surprised. And I'm also surprised that I haven't experienced any heat whatsoever, even though I've been playing like for hours and hours gameplay of Assassin's Creed and Spider-Man. I haven't experienced any heat whatsoever and any noise whatsoever with the fans. So knock on wood, I hope it stays like that. And of course, I still haven't connected my console to my TV. I've been using it with my 32-inch BenQ 4K monitor, and it's been great. In HDR, looks great, looks beautiful. And so far, I'm gonna keep playing it like this because it's where I played the most. But once, you know, I'm gonna have to put it on the TV sometime so I can enjoy it on the bigger screen. So, but for now, I'll be using it mainly on my 32-inch BenQ 4K monitor. So guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Like I said, I do like this console. I do like the DualSense controller. I do like the games that I've been playing here so far. But honestly, this console is not worth more than what Sony is asking for. $400 and $500. That's the only price you should pay for these consoles. Because like I said at the beginning or midway my video, the differences in graphics is not that big as a difference. The only huge difference is loading time. That's it. And the controller, which looks great, but and plays great, but only if you're playing, so far if you're playing Astro Playroom. Other than that, a lot of games don't really use the functions of the controller. Like Spider-Man and Valhalla, you barely hear or feel anything different. So honestly, I wouldn't pay more scalper money for these consoles because they're worth what Sony asked for, not more than that, honestly, in my opinion. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you think about it, and let me know what has been your experience. Have you been experiencing crashes? Do you have games that didn't work on your PlayStation 5? How are you using it? Horizontal mode or stand-up mode, like in tower mode? Thanks for watching this video. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.